Right then, welcome to the Q&A, guys. I'm going to pop some stuff in the chat whilst people turn up. Right then, so surf coaching, training and fitness. One of the first things I want to talk about is how people think that the pop-up is the first thing you need to learn in surfing. And although it is obviously early on, you need to first off learn how to read the ocean, know where to paddle out, how to paddle, how to pick a wave. There is so much to surfing, which is why I do what I do. And it's to try and make things simpler and break it all down for surfers. Now, I'm not trying to train athletes. I'm not trying to train pro surfers. I have done in the past, but my goal is to help everyday surfers just improve in their hobby. I'm never going to be a pro surfer. I don't have any aspirations to join the tour, especially at 40. But I want to be able to surf for as long into my life as possible. I don't want to get to 50, 60, 70 and have to stop surfing because of bad backs, bad knees, and so forth. I've had a couple of knee operations, so I know that is going to be a factor at some point, and it's already causing issues with my hips because that's just how the body works. But I am seeing a physio and I'm doing things that I need to nip things in the bud as early as possible. So let's go from the beginning. If you are getting into surfing, you want to be able to, let's look at it from a fitness standpoint. You need to be able to get out to wherever is breaking, whether you're surfing a beach break, you need to get past the sandbar, or to a safe section where you can catch the broken waves of the white water. If you're a little bit further ahead and you're surfing maybe a point or a reef and you need to be able to get out there, you need to be able to paddle and keep that fitness there, that endurance. So there's lots and lots of little side topics and rants and discussions that we can have on this, but I think you need to look at your zone 2 cardio to start off with, get that basic aerobic capacity in. So for example, you probably want to be aiming at around 140 beats per minute. Also sort of like the almost fat burning zone as well, and just steady state cardio. So get on a bike, you want to be able to have a conversation, maybe a jog, whether it's outdoors or on a treadmill. Rower, you're probably going to go a little bit harder on that, really. So my advice would probably be find a good run, find a bike of some description, whether that's in the gym or outside, and just steady state, build up your capacity. Start with 10-15 minutes if it's hard to do, or if you're a bit more conditioned, then you can start looking at 45 minutes, an hour, a couple of hours, whatever you want to do. Get going on it. When you start looking at paddling for waves, you are starting to break into the world of intervals. Now, there are so many different variations you can do for this. You can have a minute on, minute off, 30 seconds. You could have 10 seconds on, 30 seconds off, or go the other way, 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off, depending on your level. Now, you're going between different energy systems when you're paddling out and when you're catching waves. You're not just paddling for endurance. In the classical sense, you are, if you're duck diving or turtle rolling, so if you're at a beach break, for example, and you got to get out the back, you might do 4, 5, 7 paddles, and then you've got to stop to either duck dive, turtle roll, get through the wave in some capacity, then you're starting again. And if it's a good day, it could just be a couple of minutes, could be 3 or 4 waves. Or if it's a bit bigger or a bit more onshore, then you could be looking at maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depends. If it's quite a solid beach, then yeah, you could be looking at quite some time. I've had some 20-minute paddle outs before. It's not easy. And that's really going to gas you. That's really going to tax your lung capacity and your aerobic system. So you need to make sure that that's up there. So you're training not only aerobic, but anaerobic as well, because you're, like I say, you're not paddling for hours in one steady state. It's very stop start. So you're going to be utilizing the oxygen supplies in your muscles, not just in your cardiovascular system. So yeah, mix it up. Obviously, the best 2 options I'd say, if you're going to try to mimic surfing in some way, is swimming and the ski erg in the gym. Laying on a Swiss ball and doing 100 reps with a resistance band, it's not really going to do that much for you. Keeping within the cardio and endurance side of things, you want to be building up that general capacity. Now, it doesn't have to be either of those. You can do this on a rower, on a bike, any cardio, anything that's going to force you to get out of breath. Okay, that is still going to work your system. If you're surfing all the time, last thing you want to be doing is going in a gym and replicating the exact same movements. Okay, if you're going to paddle, just go and paddle. If you're in a gym, you need to be training to protect your joints. So when it comes to your shoulders, for example, if you're not paddling with good technique, you're going to be using your shoulders more than your lats, your latissimus dorsi, which is these ones down here. You want to be using them to paddle, not just your shoulders, because they are a much, much bigger muscle. Your shoulders are made up of lots of different muscles, ligaments, tendons, and they are extremely small in comparison to your lats. So you're not going to produce as much power. Now, people have got away with this for years and years, but you end up with repetitive strain injuries, rotator cuff injuries, which will affect you just in day-to-day life. So use some common sense, learn how to paddle correctly. So retract your shoulder blades. Okay, so almost like pull back and tense your back, and then you paddle, and then you're going to be pulling with your lats, not your shoulders. That's going to, because it's a bigger muscle, it's going to be less taxing on your system. The muscle's going to last longer because it's bigger and it's got more capacity for that. So build the strength there, build the power there, okay, because you want some powerful reps for when you're paddling into the wave. Then moving on to the strength aspect. So the stronger you are, the more power you can produce. So if you're struggling to do pull-ups, then you're going to struggle to paddle. You're going to have less power, less capacity than other surfers. So if your power to weight ratio is really good, you can do say 10, 15, 20 pull-ups, then you're going to be in a better position in the water, because if you're, so I'm 100 kilos, say I done 10 pull-ups, and then you've got somebody that is maybe the same weight, but they can't do 10 pull-ups. They are going to struggle more because the muscle doesn't have the strength there. It's not got the power. Okay, it's not got the work capacity either. to be pulling 100 kilo through the water on the board. So look at it that way. You need that torque in your body to really paddle faster. Okay. You need to increase your power to weight ratio, strength to weight. So essentially, the more efficiently and powerfully you can move your body, the better your paddling is going to be in the water. Okay. So that is a lot of back training, a lot of posterior work. In accordance to that, you also then need to be balancing that so that you're not overly strong in the back and not enough in the front. Your body needs to have some level of symmetry and sort of stasis. So training your push system. So anything to do with the back is pretty much a pull movement. So that's bent over row, pull-ups, single arm row, anything like that, you're pulling. Okay, so when it comes to the front, the anterior, you're looking at push movements, so press-ups, dumbbell press, anything like that, you're pushing. So, and you also want to increase the power output with your push. So again, get strong in exercises like the bench. I'd recommend the dumbbell bench over the barbell, just because you're using your body unilaterally. So you're going to work each limb individually at the same time. Whereas the barbell, your stronger side will compensate for your weaker side. So utilizing kettlebells, dumbbells, anything that's making your limbs work separately is going to help you to balance your body out, essentially. And surfing is one of the biggest sports to offset your natural balance. So yeah, focus on single limb exercises and lots of rotation work. So we've got the pull for the back, we've got the push for the chest. Obviously with the pop up, you do need a good level of explosive power, but it's only a short, sharp burst, but then there's going to be lots of them. So train for that. You don't want to be doing 50 burpees just to train for your pop up. You want to maybe look at some weighted press ups, heavy dumbbell bench, working on a slow eccentric. So, for example, if you're doing a press up, start in the top position, lower yourself down for say 3 to 5 seconds. If you're confident with it, pause at the bottom and explode up as quick as you can. So you may see this written down as say 4010. You got 4 seconds down, 1 second at the bottom, at say no rest. So 4 seconds down, straight with a 1 second up, and then no rest at the top, go. Or if you want to hold a pause, you could have 4210. Okay, so it'll be 4 seconds down, 2 second pause, up for 1, and then no rest at the top. That's going to increase your eccentric control and power, which will then provide you with the time and attention your muscles need to increase in strength, power, and size, and it's going to give you that oomph to get back up and help with your pop up. So they're just a couple of things you can do, and you don't need equipment to do this, or not too much equipment. So press ups will work. You can scale this back. So if you're not able to do a full military press up, you could do this off the arm of a couch. You could do it on the cupboard, on the side of the cupboard, or on your knees. Then if it's the other way and you don't have a weighted vest or anything to increase that weight, then have your hands on the floor and maybe put your feet up on the couch, on the arm of the couch, on a chair, anything like that, that's going to increase the height of the legs, which is going to put more body weight through the shoulders and the arms and chest. So then you're coming down that way. Same thing again, 4 seconds down, add in a pause if you like, but try and explode up as quick as you can. That's going to increase your fast twitch muscle fibers and your power output, which is the goal. So we've looked at the paddling and a pop-up. Next one would be the bottom turn. So with this is where you cannot skip leg day. Sorry, you have to get involved. So squats, trap bar deadlift, walking lunges, anything like that is going to be gold dust for increasing your strength and power output for your bottom turn. For me, the trap bar deadlift is probably my favorite. So you got a hexagonal barbell, basically. You stand in the middle, you got handles at the side, and you're mimicking like a farmer's carry or picking a shopping up with good technique. So you got the handles at the side, you essentially squat or deadlift down, and then you lift it up. This is a great neutral position, so it's putting less pressure on your lower back. And it is, personally, I find with clients, it's an easier movement, especially for someone that might be a novice in a gym. Entry level, it's a bit more comfortable than a traditional barbell deadlift. And you don't have to bring the bar up against your shins. So yeah, trap bar deadlift, back squats, front squats, they're all great. The front squats will load the quads more. So the front of your thighs, you've got your quadriceps, which is for muscles running through. And you need to keep them super strong, super powerful, because you've got to, whenever you do a turn of any kind, it all stems from the bottom turn as the most, excuse the pun, but pivotal maneuver you're going to do. And whether you're on a small wave, big wave, you have to you've got to provide enough power to break through the inertia of the wave. Okay. So the wave is just water with energy running through it. So in order to execute a turn, you need to push enough power through your legs and that board for it to turn and go force against that power, that energy in the water. Okay. So for a sharper or a bigger maneuver just requires more power. You got to break that inertia. So the more you can do in the gym or outside, but land-based training. So if I refer to the gym at any point, that anything can be done without the use of a gym. I do mean land-based training. Okay, so well, that's goblet squats, trap bar deadlifts, normal squats, front squats, Olympic lifting. Loading your quads is vital. Okay, especially if you want to get a nice stylish turn like Tom Curran. You've seen how low he gets, the power that guy had driving off the bottom. In the words of Sean Thompson, who was on my podcast last year, hard off the bottom, hard off the top. Okay, so you need to have that power, especially in your quads, to go against the inertia and throw a load of spray. Basically, the more powerful your quads, the bigger the spray. Okay, so if that's the motivation you need, go for it. So yeah, that's it with the bottom turn, really. So core, let's go into that a little bit. Core is just your trunk. Okay, so your abs, your lower back, your hips, that area between your arms and your legs, essentially. Okay, so when you say core training, don't necessarily just think your classic abs class. Okay, that will build your abs, it won't necessarily just build your core. Compound exercises such as squats, deadlifts, bench, when done correctly and engaging your core, that will build that trunk power and base. Okay, and surfers, it is vital for everything you do. Staying balanced on the board, paddling, popping up, executing any maneuver whatsoever, you need to have that strong core. Okay, so focus on compound lifts, compound exercises. Don't just do a load of sit-ups, mountain climbers, and so forth. They have their place. But if you can learn to lift heavy, so something like the trap bar deadlift, eventually you want to be doing 1.5 times your body weight, maybe even double your body weight. The power you can output from there will be amazing. Okay, so say if me 98 kilos, you say 100 for ease the maths. I'm currently doing 150 kilo for 5 reps on trap bar deadlift. That for me allows me to, one, rehab my knee, but also to produce enough power and strength through my maneuvers in my surfing. I do a lot of longboarding. As a performance longboard, so I do like to throw it around a little bit. It's not a 5'10", 30-liter board. It is a 9-foot whatever, and it's probably closer to 50 liters, 60 liters. So there's a lot of board to throw around. So I need to be able to produce a lot of power to do that. So yeah, anything else with the core, I'd say if you do on a simple exercise to help with coordination, things like the ab rollers are really good. You can have a nice stretch, just go easy, because the last thing you want to do is strain your abdominal muscles. Okay, not fun. So entry level, start with your knees, just and you just basically roll out and roll back. Is one of the most simple exercises you can do, but that will help you gain control around your core and your abs. So just remember, when you're training for surfing, you are not bodybuilding. Okay, you can utilize the same exercises, and within certain remits there's going to be similar sets and reps, but you do not want to start following a generic gym training program, because a lot of them will be designed for low-level bodybuilding. It's for aesthetics. It's not for performance. It's not for mobility and longevity necessarily. So make sure you're picking the right program. I do have them on the website, which is www.surfacademyuk.com. You can download them. There's a couple for around £15, a full surf strength training program for 25. They don't go above that unless you want a custom program. So it's nice and affordable, and they are designed with surfers in mind. Okay, so just to recap, then you want to focus on compound movements. Okay, get that base strength up, be able to have enough strength to produce the power for all your maneuvers. You need to work on 2 types of cardio: your zone 2, so your steady state, get that general work capacity up, and you want to be working on your intervals as well, which is more for when you're paddling for the wave and paddling out through a messy lineup. Okay, and then, like you say, increasing your overall strength and power. It is vital, and with surfing getting more popular and busier, then the stronger and faster you are, the more waves you're going to catch, and the more waves you catch, the more fun you're going to have. Okay, so don't think of it as, oh, I'm training to be an next Kelly Slater, Chris Moore. It's low for error. It's not for that. Okay, obviously them guys train and they train hard, but for the average Joe, you get up, you go to work, maybe you got to sort the kids out before and after work as well. You might not surf for weeks or months at a time. The reason you're training is so that when you do get in the water, you're able to make the absolute most of it. You might only get an hour once a month, if you're lucky. And I've been there. I used to work as a civil servant, horrible shifts, working inland in Hampshire, and 45 minutes to my local break, which was absolutely heaving with people around Bournemouth, London, anywhere, Bristol. This was before the wave was built. So, and even now it's absolutely manic. And I live in Cornwall now, so I'm right next to some very busy beaches. So for me, even though I can get in more regularly, I still need to be in the gym every week, doing what I can to make sure that I'm able to catch as many waves as I can. I haven't really surfed much this year. I've been in the gym fairly consistently, and that has helped save me. Okay, so I went out the other day on a longboard at Harlyn and still managed to catch a few waves. It wasn't very good. It was small and sloppy, but I managed to get a few. Couple of fun maneuvers on some tiny little waves, which I don't think even if I was super surf fit, I wouldn't have been able to do much more than what I did just because the conditions didn't allow. So I'm happy with that session. I'm happy that I've done what I can in the gym to maintain a certain level. So, but hope that's helped, guys. I'm going to try and do these every week. There's going to be other videos coming up. So please like, share, and subscribe, all that jazz. Stick a comment in below. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what your biggest struggle is when it comes to surfing, whether that's from a technical standpoint, from the fitness background. Let me know. I'd love to hear it, and I really want to help you. So if you've got any questions, feel free to drop me a note in the comments below, or reach out via the website, www.surfacademyuk.com. I'll put that in the description in the comments below, and then you can find me across all social media at Surf Academy UK. So have a good one, and thank you very much. Stay stoked.